Megan Postrom and her roommate in college, Janelle, were great friends at college, great roommates. Megan still says to this day, Janelle was the best roommate that she ever had, mostly because Megan, they were both accounting majors. Megan was your classic accounting student, 4.0, very studious. Janelle, not so much. Her GPA wasn't all that high, but she had a great time in college. She was involved in a lot of social activities, met a lot of guys. In fact, Megan will tell you that she probably wouldn't have dated if it wasn't for meeting the guys that Janelle had already either dated or was in some way connected to. So there was a lot of affection between the two of them, except at the end of their senior year when they were both beginning to interview for serious jobs. They were interviewing for some similar positions, and Megan was, now I heard this story 8 years later, but Megan will tell you that she was scratching her head because Janelle actually got a job at a company that Megan really wanted to work for. It was fast growing. Accounting wasn't viewed as just a support activity, but it was actually viewed as a kind of a strategic activity within the business. There was a nice career path, and Janelle got a job there. Low-level job, but she got a job there. Megan ended up getting a fine job. In fact, didn't really feel anything bad about the job that she got. And they drifted apart for about 8 years. 8 years later, they met again. They were both in Boston, and they reconnected and began to socialize and went out a few times. And Janelle invited Megan over to her apartment one night, and they were having a couple of glasses of wine, just sitting and talking. And it was at that point, because of the comfort of distance and time, Megan finally felt comfortable saying, "So what happened? You know, how did you," and Megan was sensitive, she said, "Not saying that you didn't, deserve it, but how did you get that job? Did you know somebody? Did you?" And Janelle laughed and said, "No, I didn't sleep with anybody. I didn't do it. There was nothing nefarious." But Janelle walks to a closet, pulls out a binder about 3 inches thick, and shows Megan the portfolio that she used when she was going out on job interviews. And the portfolio included some documentation from when Janelle was a Girl Scout, and she set the record in her community for selling Girl Scout cookies. It even had a spreadsheet of what she had done in terms of her cookie sales. There were records from when she was on the swimming team, and again, some data from how she kept improving on the swim team and how she used data to always track herself and track her progress. She managed to present her college experience. She was involved in so many social groups and social activities, not as a leader, but as a participant. And she had evidence, she had documents, and basically as you go through that portfolio, you get the impression, here's someone who is very active, very engaged socially, but also very good at her job, or who could be very good at her job, who has real leadership capability, even though she wasn't necessarily in classic leadership positions in these student groups. Megan also noticed that there were letters from professors, which we all would include in a portfolio if we're interviewing, but some of the professors with whom Janelle had the lowest GPA or really struggled with grades, gave her some really strong recommendations. And Megan asked about that, and Janelle had worked that. She knew in some of those classes, I'm not doing well, so if I'm not doing well, I need to make sure that the professor at least likes me, at least knows that I'm trying, knows that I'm pushing myself to try and make it work. And she ended up getting some really good letters of recommendation for some classes that she didn't do all that great in. And in the end, the portfolio was part of what helped Janelle land the job. And here's the ultimate point of the story, because when Megan asks, well, why didn't you show this to me then? This would have been great to know about then. And Janelle said, well, the whole reason I put this together was because I knew I was competing against what we called you 4.0 Megan. And I knew I was going after some of the same jobs. I needed something to have an edge. And again, with time, it wasn't anything that Megan was annoyed or frustrated by. It was more of a learning experience for her, where she realized, even in an environment that seems so cooperative, that seems like we're in this together, we're roommates, we like each other, we swap boyfriends, I mean, we're in this together, there's still a competitive aspect, and that's the way the world works.